5 years ago, one stormy night erased the line between fate and regret. Today, a ruthless CEO locks eyes with a child who carries the same rare mark burned into his own skin. And in that heartbeat, his empire trembles. Before you decide who's lying, who's hiding, and who deserves redemption, hit subscribe to this channel. Because this story will break your heart, twist your mind, and restore your faith in miracles you didn't believe were possible. 5 years after the night he buried under layers of power, money, and denial, Arjun Malhotra, the kind of CEO whose name could make markets panic and men kneel, returned to the rural valley he once passed through like a ghost, not for nostalgia but to finalize a ruthless land acquisition that would turn fields into factories. Yet fate, cruel and precise, chose that very morning to unravel him when his motorcade halted by a roadside school and he saw a boy no older than 5 chasing a paper kite through dust and sunlight, laughter ringing bright as bells. And then the impossible happened. The boy stumbled, scraped his arm, and as he rose, Arjun's breath vanished because there, just below the elbow, was a crescent-shaped birthmark with a faint scar line through it, a mark Arjun had carried since birth, a mark doctors once called a 1 in a million anomaly, a mark his late mother had kissed and called his moon, and the world tilted as memories he had starved came roaring back to that single night during a monsoon when a broken bridge stranded him in this very valley, when he was not a king but a soaked, injured stranger, and Mira, a quiet rural waitress with storm-dark eyes and hands rough from honest work, had stitched his wound by lamplight, fed him hot bread, and listened without judgment as he spoke of the loneliness behind glass towers, and when the rain trapped them till dawn, something fragile and human bloomed between them, tender and unguarded, a night neither promised forever yet neither could forget, a night Arjun left before sunrise with guilt heavier than desire and a business deal screaming urgency, a night Mira watched him disappear knowing secrets sometimes grow louder in silence. Now, 5 years later, Arjun followed the boy with his eyes until a woman called him by name. Arav. And when she turned, time punched him in the chest because it was Mira, older, steadier, eyes still deep but shadowed by endurance, and when their gazes met, recognition flickered then shuddered, her jaw tightening as if bracing for a storm she'd long predicted, and Arjun, the man who never begged, stepped out of his armored car into dust and humility, asking nothing but whispering, "Is he?" Before Mira cut him off with a calm sharpened by years of survival, telling him some truths come with a price he'd never paid, yet destiny refused to be silenced as rumors spread faster than wildfire, about the CEO and the child with the same moon mark, and the village, once invisible to power, found itself under a microscope as Arjun's rivals smelled weakness and his board circled like vultures, accusing him of moral scandal to force his resignation, while Mira faced pressure from all sides. Elders urging her to claim compensation, opportunists whispering of lawsuits, and fear clawing her nights as she remembered the letter she'd written years ago and never sent. The letter explaining the pregnancy, returned unopened when Arjun changed offices and numbers like skins, a truth that now twisted into accusation, and as Arav fell ill with a rare blood disorder that required a donor with a matching genetic anomaly, the miracle turned monstrous. Only Arjun could save the child. Yet to do so publicly would ignite a media inferno that could destroy Mira's fragile world and expose Arjun's empire to collapse, and so the CEO made a choice no one expected. He froze the acquisition, defied his board, and stayed in the village, learning to wake with roosters instead of alarms, to kneel at a child's bedside counting breaths, to hear Mira's anger without defense, and as tests confirmed the impossible truth that fate had carved into flesh, Arjun faced another twist when documents surfaced suggesting the mark was hereditary in Mira's family too, casting doubt and giving his enemies ammunition to claim coincidence and manipulation. But the final blow came when Mira revealed she had married after he left, only for her husband to die before Arav's birth. An admission that shattered Arjun's hope and crowned him with guilt for daring to wish, until the night Arav whispered from his hospital bed that he dreamed of a man with a moon on his arm holding his kite against the wind. And something inside Arjun broke open, not with possession but with surrender, as he signed away voting control to protect the company from scandal, choosing fatherhood over throne, while Mira chose courage over fear, standing before cameras to tell the truth without drama or demand. And when the surgery succeeded and Arav's small fingers wrapped around Arjun's marked arm for the first time, the miracle wasn't the blood that matched but the love that stayed. And the final twist unfolded quietly months later when Arjun returned not as a conqueror but as a builder, funding the school, the clinic, the bridge that once broke his path, And as he and Mira learned the slow, uncertain language of forgiveness, the valley healed alongside them, proving that destiny doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers through a child's laughter, a shared scar, and the courage to choose what you once ran from.